moving on, I would like to introduce our next speaker for the session on the topic Conversational AI and Chatbots, enhancing your customer's digital age experience. I would like to introduce Mr. Chandra, Shekhar, Director, Digital Customer Experience, Marketing and Commerce, Deloitte. So, Mr. Chandrasekhar is a digital industry thought leader, speaker, contributor, and advisor in industry forums with diversified experience in digital strategy and transformation, technical innovation, and customer growth. He is a versatile IT professional with over 20 plus years of experience of enriching global across industry and multiple geographies. So, can we all put our hands together and welcome Mr. Chandrasekhar on the dais?
Morning onwards, people are talking about conversational AI, Gen AI, and other stuff. So I think so. I'm not going to talk anything new. So then I was thinking because a lot of things has been already presented. So then I thought, what I'm going to talk about it, right? I mean, so I just come with a idea is that many people drives BMW, but then who drives that BMW? That's matter. So I'll go with based on that, right? So and the other stuff is that obviously a lot of documentary type of things we can talk about. So I'm just thinking to add some songs into that so that it becomes a Bollywood movies, right? So that's how I will look into that because there's nothing new I mean, it's most of the topics are already covered. So I'll just get into a little bit of a basics of that and let's see that how it goes. So before we get into any of the technical stuff, be it conversational AI, chatbot, and Gen AI, and omni-channel we talked about, customer experience we talked about, let's see that what is the customer expectation which is a must nowadays, right? First is that know me, in the sense, you should be knowing my preference, you should be knowing that what kind of, let's say if we talk about a travel experience, right? So you should be knowing that what is my preference, whether I'm looking for a location which might be mountains and which might be seas or which might be any other stuff, right? So we talk about personalization, we talked about hyper-personalization, how it is possible, unless until I know that, right? So a lot of people talked about data is king, customer is king. I think so the amalgamation of customer data to make it more sensible to utilize that part is what matters, right? So know me is one of the things which every customer expect. The second is that once you know me, wow me, in the sense, what could makes me excited? What could make me to purchase you as a brand, right? What will make me to like repurchase the stuff what it is there, right? So that's the second piece of it. The third piece is that make it easy, right? So any journeys or any digital conversation which is happening on any of the channels, it has to be very, very simple. If it is complex, people is not going to follow on that part, right? So make it easy. Whatever the complex process or the other stuff which you are doing behind the scene doesn't matter, but for the end customer, it has to be very, very simple and easy. So that's a third piece of it. The fourth piece is that earn my trust. So as a customer, if I am there, any brands which is working for me or any conversation which I am doing either on chatbot or any other stuff, unless until I trust, I will not give my data. I will not give my personal information. So personal information can be collected based on browser, cookies, but then logged in user or the user which is giving their information, they can only give once they trust you, right? So that's very, very important to have it, right? So for all the digital channels where you are doing an interaction with the customer, these are the four things which is at very, very basic level, which has to be there and which has to be met for any customer experience which we are talking about. Now, let's take an example of a travel companies which are talking about, and there are certain companies which have already built kind of a conversational AI chatbots on their websites, and you go and type that I want to go to a place, let's say I say that I want to go a place where in the southern India, then if you are a logged in user or you have given any of the information, they already have information about what your likes and dislikes about. That's number one. Number two, whatever the information which you are typing on those chatbots, it reflects based on that. So based on your personal reference, based on your personal interest, as well as the information which you are writing on that, the conversational AI can give a recommendation in terms of what kind of a hotel you should be looking, what kind of a, and not only like, if let's say the travel company which is, kind of giving you hotels and the flight, even the cross-sell can happen based on that other stuff what you can do. Let's say if I am interested on cycling, what kind of a cycling track it is there. If I'm interested on mountains, what kind of a, other trips which I can do on that part, right? So it's not only about what you're looking for, but it's also about the complete experience which you are providing based on the interaction which is there. And it is not only based on the interaction, but it is also based on other data set which you have already collected if you know that customer, right? If you don't know, then obviously you will do like, so just take example of, I think so the recently Bangalore Metro, I'm just taking the local examples, has come up with a WhatsApp chatbot solutions for buying the tickets and all, which is more of you converse with that based on, giving you information that I'm looking for this purple line, I'm looking for this, and then based on that, you can actually purchase the ticket or you can recharge the ticket. But behind the scene, a lot of things has happened, right? But then it is making very, very simple for the end customer in terms of what they are buying, right? So that's an experience which makes them to do again and again, and obviously other stuff, not only in terms of buying the tickets, but also in terms of recharging and things like that, it can happen, right? So that's what it is. Now, if you look into in terms of the overall conversational AI and chatbot, the way it plays in terms of the providing the digital age customer experience, right? So one is that obviously the data collection and analysis. So the more you collect the data, the more you are accurate about the customer, right? So it's very, very important in terms of how you are collecting the data. It is not only about what customer has given, but it's also about based on the conversation, what all information which you are gathering based on that. That is also very, very important. And I think so you are there from the insurance side of it, so you will know what I'm talking about, right? So that's there. The second is that obviously the language support. So being India, diverse country, obviously it needs to be, collect all based on, it should support for all the language, whatever it is there. Otherwise you will miss the bus. You might able to, if you're doing English, maybe you are able to, connect with only 15 to 20% of the people, but you're missing the other stuff. While doing the language support, even if you are doing a video conversation kind of a thing, emotional empathy collection is also very, very important. So not what you are talking, as well as what kind of a mood you are seeing based on the videos and picture. You have options to actually tweak your response based on that. That is also there, which is coming up in the future trends, what it is coming up, right? So while you do chatbots and other stuff based on just the text, but there are newer trends which is coming based on the video conversation. You can actually catch the emotions of the human and you can interact based on that. The third is multi-channel support. So many people has talked about that it should support. So it's like a omni-channel support or multi-channel support. So you interact on one channel and then you are going to the next channel, it should pick it up from there. The AI helping or the conversational AI is helping in terms of how it is giving an instant response. And instant response doesn't mean to just response based on whatever it is there. It has to be a intelligent response based on what customer is expecting. Somebody talked about that, I think so, that I need product, what I need based on real time, based on the right time and right place, right? So this is also, something based on that the response has to be very, very correct and what the customer is looking for that. The AI is helping in terms of giving you the 24/7 supports, not only the support, but also collecting the data and things like that. And then obviously the personalization, which is very, very, very important. And again, nowadays I don't call personalization, but I call it hyper-personalization because it has gone to the next level of the personalization stuff, right? Jokingly we were talking about that not only the brand or whoever is using those bots and all, they should be knowing about me, but they should also be knowing about my spouse and the family, and based on that it can recommend. So let's say, if the bots knows that, your wife's or your husband's, things are coming, so it should actually give you a recommendation based on what it is coming, not only for you, but also to make your spouse happy and give based on that, right? So that kind of a thing is also coming. So the idea is that the data, how you are collecting and how smartly you are playing with those data to make life easy, simple, and happy is what it is needed, right? So that's what it is. So that's there. Then again, I think so I've seen some example chatbot on the food companies as well, right? They are talking about in terms of, you go and type about that, I want to do a, kind of a party with 20 of my colleagues, and then I'm looking for do something like that. It becomes your food app AI kind of a thing, right? And then it's recommend based on, you give a preference that I'm looking for this kind of a party, and I have a 20 people team, and you suggest that what all food items it is there. So it's kind of a giving you advice and suggestion based on certain information which you have given. And again, I am attaching that based on certain information which is already there with that brand or the company which is there. And kind of mixing both is very, very important, because at first time when somebody is chatting on that, they will not give you the complete information. So I'm going just one level. Next is that, while one side you talk about whatever you are actually responding to what they are talking about, but the other side, if you have certain information, you are going to a next level and talk based on that. I think so. One of the video which I was seeing, which talks about men versus women. So women talk certain things, but assume that certain things is not there, which should be understood by the men, which doesn't happen. But I think so these tools and other stuff can actually help understanding those part as well, right? So the point is that look for the data which is there, look for the data which is given on fly on that, and based on that create a kind of a, the experience which person is looking, right? So it's like collecting the client data, look for the indicators what it is there, look for certain events what it is there, and based on that recommend. It's not only help what you're selling, it also help in terms of two, you can do cross-sell, you can make that person your brand ambassador to do so, which becomes a reference, kind of a advertisement for you. And then obviously, once the customer is happy, in the recommendation and other stuff will follow based on that, right? So now, I mean, obviously, there are many people which talks about then where we will use those conversational AI and how it is actually helping to meet the customer expectation in terms of, providing a hyper-personalization, or in terms of enhancing the customer experience. And there are many uses. I mean, we talked about travel company, we talked about the food companies, and then obviously consumer application we can talk about in terms of the smartphones, where you can use in the vehicles, where you can interact with those, the speech, navigations, voice control, and based on that, you can see that, I mean, the next course of action or the NBA, whatever we call it, it can be taken based on that, right? It can be used on wearable device, which can be used for your, like your workouts and other stuff kind of a thing, right? And then obviously the smart home intelligence can also use that part of it. I think so on B2C side, there are many use cases which is there in the market, and somebody talked about B2H, which is true. It's about business to human. So the B2B and B2C is kind of, converging. So in the B2B space, right, in terms of the healthcare and all, I think so, healthcare somebody was talking about, right, that how these information which is available, can be utilized on these business applications. So let's say that a doctor which don't have a time to read through what it is there, right? Do I have options to create a chatbot or a bot which is a voice bot where a doctor can ask, and based on all the information which is already there available in the system, as well as what the patient has given during that time, can help in terms of doing the diagnostic faster, right? It can recommend, and then obviously doctor can decide based on that. Obviously, it has not come to a situation where, the bot itself can, or the AI itself can decide that the final diagnosis kind of a thing, right? But then when that it can help in terms of achieving that faster, and the time of the doctor can be saved, right? So that's there. Finance anyway, I mean, not only in terms of where the investment has to happen, but also it can give in terms of the recommendation and the other stuff, kind of a thing, right? So that's what there. And then education, I think so it's already happening. There are educational companies which has already created those AI chatbots, which is helping in terms of choosing the right set of educational products based on the needs and other stuff. Right, so keeping all these things in mind, I mean, just put certain taglines in terms of kind of tracking the consumer journeys using the AI bots and monitoring their past interaction and all, which we talked about. Not only the past interaction, but also in terms of the past data, and then obviously the suggest in terms of personalized products, which becomes a powerful strategy in terms of enhancing the customer journeys, right, or customer experience, which is very, very important. Another thing, understanding customer preference, again I'm talking throughout for that, so basically the customer is king. You need to take customer preference in your account to sell anything rather than what you have to sell it, right? So it needs to be, and then obviously you can actually do certain kind of story building based on what customer preference are there, and based on that if you look for kind of, giving the response or giving or selling the products what you have, that makes more, the forward thinking strategy in terms of the customer experience. So that's what I have. Okay, sorry. So one more slide. So in terms of the conversational AI, if you look into that, till now we have seen in terms of, efficiency, standardization, and experience kind of a thing, like in terms of how we have used it, right? But then today and tomorrow, which we are looking, which we are talking about the hyper-personalization, and then obviously the diversity and auto-learning, which is very, very important. I mean, anything, any of the stuff which you are doing online, or any of the conversation on any of the digital channel which you are doing, based on that, the system has to learn from that, and that's what it is happening today. And if based on that, whatever the recommendation which is coming through that will make basically the difference between the different brands, what is working in the market. There are certain challenges with the adoptions of these bots and things, right? I mean, still we are human, and we see that, lot of time customers are reluctant to use the chatbots, and they want to interact with the human. But I think so slowly it is changing, because the more the accurate information it will come, the more adoption will happen. Lack of human and AI blending, which is still there are, kind of a far. He was talking about that AI will not replace the human. Obviously not, it will not, but it has to be, last slide, it has to be, kind of a mix of both, should provide the improvement, or should provide in terms of whatever the experience we are looking, right? So, yeah, and these are the other kind of a challenges which still there in terms of adoption of AI and chatbots. So that's all from me. If any question if you have, I am happy to take. Otherwise, I'm good to go.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shekhar, for that lovely session. I would like to request Ms. Shilpa Kona, Director Marketing VisionNet, to do the honors of felicitating Mr. Shekhar. Can we please have a huge round of applause?